Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. If all of you would rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Lehman here, Underwood here, Gilman here, Warren
Here.
Chasm.
Here. We have a quorum. Next item is approval of the agenda. We do have a blue sheet here. One of the items which we are going to replace, substitute item G with a closed session regarding to discuss an attorney-client privileged communication. So that would go into G. And then the next item is a discussion of Cedar Run, Gray, and Harris Roads. So that would go into, I think it would be M. Because G, it would be N, because we are adding a G, right? It would be N. And then O would be.
And then O would be.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda with those changes.
Second. We have a motion from Commissioner Thorn, second by Commissioner Underwood to amend the agenda and replace item G on the original agenda with a closed session to discuss attorney-client privilege communication. And then add as item N, discussion of Cedar Run, Gray, and Harris Roads. Any discussion or questions? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is conflict of interest. Do any members of the board have any conflict of interest regarding any matters on the agenda? None. Next item, public comment. Do any members of the public wish to make any comment at this point? If so, if you could please stand up, and Bill is going to read the rules, and then after that, if you could just state your name.
Any person may make an advance appointment with the board regarding road commission topics for a regular or special meeting in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. If an appointment is made, the topic will be an agenda item. The following applies to public comments. Please say his or her name and township or district. Topic must be relevant to the road commission. Individuals are allowed to speak once for up to 3 minutes on a single topic, which may be extended by the chair. A group addressing the board requires a designated spokesperson who may speak up to 10 minutes. The board will not act on any item from the public that is not on the agenda.
Thank you, Bill. If you could please state your name, and then you have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Toma. I am a member of Long Lake Township. And while I fully agree and understand that US 31 needs to be fixed, people are not following the designated detour. They're detouring north, not south of 31. I've seen things on the news about this and other areas that are having a problem. We specifically live near the intersection of West Long Lake and Secor. That intersection's
Silver
not,
Lake.
excuse me, West Silver Lake and Secor. That intersection's not great at the best of times because it's at an odd angle. It's a T, but it's not really a T because of the angles of the roads. And since they've got 31 closed to, I think, work on the bridges at the moment. Secor Road is backing up both at the morning traffic for people going to work as well as in the evening, half a mile or more. It just needs a traffic light for the very least for while the construction is on 31, which is the next 12 to 18 months. So I know there have been several accidents. Our home is such that we can hear the police cars going to the intersection when the accidents happen. And I contacted MDOT, MDOT pushed it back on the county, because again, we're not part of the official detour. But if you could put a temporary light in there,
So you're talking about the intersection of West Silver Lake and Secor?
yes,
And the traffic backs up on West Silver Lake Road or Secor or both? On
Secor.
Secor?
It's-
West Silver Lake is
Almost all the way to East Long Lake Road.
Right.
at times, yeah, so you've seen it then?
So they're trying to get through
That makes sense. Yeah,
the corners.
The detour. Oh, it's not right. The detour is a disaster.
Well, and I have heard, this isn't my personal experience because I don't go that way, that East Silver Lake and Bass Lake, or East Long Lake and Bass Lake, where they come together because people are trying to cut the Secor corner. There are almost accidents or have been accidents. I mean, it's just, everyone's trying to detour and it's a mess. So if it could be addressed, we would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other, please step up and state your name and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Abigail Smith and to back up Elizabeth, right?
Yes.
I have seen that intersection. It gets very backed up and on West Silver Lake, people that are turning left onto Secor, they'll back people up and there's dangerous people that are cutting on the shoulder. Just to add to your point, it's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
I've heard that as well.
But I do live on the detour right on County Road 633. I live right on the straightaway, kitty corner to Bear Township Hall in the 35 mph section. My biggest gripe with this detour is the speeding traffic. It's 35 mph and those people are cooking. They're going 45, 50 mph. And it's not just the small sedans, pickup trucks, it's semis, because they're obviously detouring there and us living so close to the road, those semis shake our house. I've had rocks fall off of my picture frame board onto the ground because they are coming around so fast and jailbreaking that it's shaking our house. And it's just terrifying being so close to the road with all the children that live close by, the park, the bus stop that is right across the street from us. I saw someone below the bus stop sign just the other day. It's just a matter of time before more people are hurt or killed on County Road 633. We've lived on that road for 2 years and there's been an accident with a fatality every single year for the past 3 months. It's been horrendous before this detour even arose. And I think something needs to be done to address the speed, whether it's reducing the traffic to a 25 mph zone temporarily for the construction and then maybe adding that for that residential area. But just something needs to be addressed. It is horrendous for us over there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll make it super quick.
So just state your name and
My name is Adam. I live on 633 as well. She pretty much said everything that I was coming to say. We haven't lived there for very long, but it didn't take us very long to figure out that. Obviously, the 35 starts right at, I think it's, what's that road there?
Vance.
Vance Road. No one's ever going 35 to cross that. When they're headed north, they stop at where it turns right. And when they're headed south, they pretty much get around that turn. They see the straightaway and they just pin. Which is not a huge deal, but there's a number of houses right there and we put a tape measure on it. We're 20 feet away from the road, front door. That truck is super cool. I love to see it, but I don't want to see it 20 feet away from the house, especially when they're not going the speed limit. And it's not just these trucks, it's all the semi trucks. And they come flying through there. And I know the bypass, they were doing it before the bypass. They've been doing it the whole summer. I don't know if that's the roundabouts on 37 or why they're coming down 633. I have no idea. But in my opinion, they have no right to be on that road. There's no business being done on that road. But I've been told by the locals that have lived there for very long that since the roundabouts on 37 were put in, that's why they've been going down there. But anyway, it was mainly just the speeding on 633 is getting really bad. It was an issue before, but now with the excess traffic, it's just made it more obvious.
Have you spoken to law enforcement about it?
She's called.
I've called a dozen times.
They don't have enough sheriffs in town to be sitting here. And I don't know, it's either you lower the speed limit to 25, granted, they're not gonna go 25, but if they go 35, I think that's a win.
What's the speed limit on the detour?
That's what I was wondering.
There's no
They haven't
speed
done that.
limit.
It changes during construction. So doesn't
Not
it?
on 633, it hasn't.
On an active construction zone.
Not yet.
Like road work for president.
Which that was another recommendation, if you're cluttering a lot more traffic down the road, maybe lower it for the time being.
Unfortunately, it's found that nobody watches speed. signs.
Which I understand that, but that's what I was told by everybody, and I'm.
Yeah, I think it's an
MSP, if it's an
enforcement
MDOT
issue.
project, can we get an MSP to just take his lunch and sit on that road or?
My understanding MSP is controlling the area.
Okay. But,
Cause that,
It should be under their jurisdiction.
that's what I mean, it would
It's
be
a-
under their
a MDOT
jurisdiction if it's an
official
MDOT
detour.
project.
right. Right, that's what they did on the M22 and 72 roundabout. People were speeding and they put a MSP person there and it started handing out tickets there. So, all right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
To the south, that's 55.
Yeah.
Got some
Better.
We say one more?
Oh, sure,
Thanks.
please.
So I'm Ross from Long Lake.
Okay.
Sir. And I think it was just, like unforeseen circumstances, you know, with the detour going away from town, causing a problem. People are gonna always try to find the shortest way into town. And for the future, if we can address that corner, whether having a permanent light or a traffic circle eventually in there. Because now that people have learned of this detour, who would normally just go down the highway because of the new circumstances, then that road is gonna continue to have an elevated traffic numbers in the future. So, I think running a little bit of a experiment, if you put the car counters out there after the construction's done. You know, so have a 5-year plan or something for that corner, because it's not gonna get better. And you know, when they pulled it up, you can see it doesn't hit on a 90-degree angle. And it's the sight line, because there's a little curve coming, S-curve coming up to it. And there's bushes along the homeowner's fence. You don't have sight lines, so people are 1 to 2 cars ahead of that stop line. And they've always been, that's living on that road, it's just the way it is. So something, and it's a big area because of the way the angles come in. I think something can be done there to kind of the traffic and future traffic. Because of, you know, the new construction going on, people are gonna be coming in the back way. So I think in the next 5 years, you're gonna have even more traffic. And, you know, try to figure something out, to stay ahead of it. All right? Okay. Yeah, and temporary lights for the construction would be a really big thing for everybody on that one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to make a comment? Okay, gonna close public comment and move on to our action items. First is the consent calendar.
The consent calendar is used to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together without discussion. Requests by any person present to remove any item from the consent calendar for full discussion as an agenda item are automatically respected. The action noted in parentheses for all items remaining, hold on, that's not for you. I'm sorry. The action noted in parentheses are for all items remaining on the consent calendar are approved by a single commission action adopted. The consent calendar. The manager recommends the following items be adopted: minutes, payroll, accounts payable, reports, and communications.
So, do any members of the board wish to remove any items from the consent calendar? Anyone from the public wishes to remove any item from the consent calendar?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Support?
Motion by Commissioner Levin, seconded by Commissioner Horn to approve the consent calendar as presented. Any further discussion before we do a roll call? Okay, roll call, please.
Underwood.
Yes.
Gilman.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Chasm.
Yes,
Motion
motion passes. Move on to D, reports. And this is to discuss any items from the staff report. The staff report was sent separately by Kylie, so it's not part of your packet. I'll start with Commissioner Lee.
I read it and I don't have anything.
All right.
No, I scanned it when it came in and I didn't see anything that stood out for me, but there's this other. You can break down.
Commissioner Underwood,
I'm fine.
Commissioner Ford.
I think it's on the agenda already.
All right. Well, I have nothing, so we move on. We move on to item E, which is commissioner updates, and this is giving an update on any meetings that any of you may have attended over the last, within the last month. Considering that our last meeting was on August 14th, it's been almost a month and a half, so it may be a few meetings. I'll start with Commissioner Thorne this time.
I had airport in Blair Township and there is nothing standing out, just questions with the airport about town line and the speed limit monitoring on that. And that's what stands out in Blair. Dan and I were together, so yeah, he's got that.
Thanks. Commissioner Underwood, I see you attended one or two meetings.
I did attend a few meetings. Pipe Lake is appreciates our partnership with them, as does Kingsley. I know that I think they've contacted us over the winter salt, sand usage and all that kind of stuff. So that's good. The other major thing I did go to the MTA meeting. Dan was there and somebody else, but I don't remember. Which is good. That was actually an update from the MTA lobbyist in Lansing. He was a coworker when I was in the legislature. It was interesting to hear what they're doing. We do expect about $3 billion in the transportation fund. That could be significantly increased up to at least $1 billion, maybe more, from this year's spending, if they can come to an agreement before October 1st or shortly thereafter. So that's for that. I did go down to Bay City to the CRA conference. There were some pretty good things. They talked about technical things like tire crumble, chip seal. But there was a nice couple of seminars on emergency preparedness from the ice storm hit areas. And CRA is working with those areas and other folks, I don't know if it's involved or not, on best practices on how to handle a catastrophic accident, a catastrophic incident like that. So that everybody is on the same page. So you basically have a manual of how you're gonna run through. Because I guess it was quite something. I mean, you're really on your own for about 48 hours to 72 hours before people can get mobilized. Did we send anybody up there for that? We did send a crew up there.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember. That was pretty good. And then I stayed the next day and I sat through the Chris update. I've given Dan and these guys the annual report. Doing really fun on the self fund. We've actually gained a few $1 million in our overall portfolio. Things are down. The return to work is working great. Claims are down, so things are looking great there.
That's about it. Thank you. Where's she going?
Well, he also, we also did the Paul Bunyan. I think he probably left some of that for me to.
I did. Mine for you.
Yeah. And I have to go back through my notes here because it's been a month at this point. So a couple of questions. Have we filled out our CCA for the Monarch?
Yes.
Okay, so we have that now. We don't have to go. I mean, the whole idea, of course, is that if we don't, then we actually have to do more work.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just better for us to be, okay. Road conductor is live, and licenses are available. That was kind of they're pretty excited about that.
What is that?
Planning road, I don't know, our engineer uses it, so.
It's a contract administration software that's supposed to replace field managers and
Okay.
non-supported for a while now.
State Representative Whiting was there, which was interesting because I think that's the first time I've actually seen a rep in the
Airplane on you.
how many years have I been here now? It's like 9 years now. 8, 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. But she was there and somewhat informative, couple of things here, let's see, The placeholder, of course, for the roads, I mean, this is the fight, really, it's about the roads. And,
Yeah.
in the end, it's gonna be, whatever I think Whitmer wants, because it's the same thing that our house people want.
Right.
So it's gonna go that way. We are going to get extra money one way or the other. It's just how they're working the give and take.
Well, they're trying to push the Senate.
For what?
The Senate is the outlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's see, a couple of updates she gave that really have nothing to do with the roads. They were talking about the FEMA's not covering individuals in the emergency ice storm stuff from last year, and the governor's appealing to that. Let's see.
I think the congressman wrote a letter to the
Yeah,
Michigan delegation to the administration.
Right. They advise us, of course, to not participate in a rally early this month at the Capitol.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that. Not a good idea. House Bill 4415. Do you know if they passed that or not? That gives more purchasing authority to our
Still in the works.
managers.
Still on the table.
Okay, all right. Well, that's part of the package. Then.
Conference.
Then, of course, we have the section 106. I have some information here. It does talk about that you're talking about best practices, with aggregates and codes. Let's see. CRASIF. You talked about CRASIF. MRSA, $5 million refund coming back, and you've probably already been notified. We'll get that against our premiums, of course. So that's kind of thing. One of the things was recommended by our MRSA people: say no to no permit snowmobile trails on our roads. Just stay out of that game. If they use the roads, fine, it's not our problem. But if we permit it, then we become entangled in it in some way. So the idea, the DNR wants us to permit stretches of road for snowmobile trail passage. Let them worry about it.
Isn't that done through the townships like ORVs are?
Well, what happens, and this is, help me if I'm recalling this wrong, Jim, is it then implies that signs can be put up in people's property, and it was becoming a problem where people were losing kind of the use of the property because these trails are coming in and out. So in our right of way, that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to give the
The townships and all those regulate outside of the right of way. This is within our right.
Yeah, this isn't within our.
You wind up getting sucked into the loss.
Okay.
Let's see. Pretty much that's it right now. And then, of course, so the next one, that's all that's in the guideline too.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Lehman.
No updates since I've been vacationing, but I do have some discussion items when you're done with your update.
Okay, well, I don't have any updates since I was also vacationing, so we'll just go on to the discussion items. And we'll start with you.
The detours,
Yeah.
the people in the audience, this is. Now, we approved MDOT's detour. They asked us to use our local road. And we approved them. And they improved our roads. But the path that they chose is almost unmanageable. My 10-minute commute is now 27 to 29 minutes. And that's why people are racing through the neighborhoods. And in the future, when asked, I think we should consider, they could have done this. Everything is complicated. Traverse City is a busy place where we know with our road projects. But when there is no viable alternative on East-West Road that's close, the Euchre Road is so far south, it's unmanageable for most people. And we probably should have really long discussion about saying yes. If they ask this again, because otherwise, like the West Bay 72, they're keeping traffic open while doing this construction. There are ways for them to manage the traffic through those zones. Well, maybe it's more complicated. But they did it on West Bay, but they didn't want to do it in the South Townships on 31. And so they used our roads, but the detours is a disaster.
But what if we said, you know, hypothetically?
Then they have to
absolutely
keep
not.
two-way traffic going.
They have to
there.
keep two-way traffic. They
They don't
can't just
close state
overrule
highways
us.
and say,
Okay.
no, I don't believe.
That's what I
We have
wondered.
to ask Bill Hand, can they just use our roads? I doubt it.
Okay, okay.
Commissioner Gilman.
I just wanted to touch on this. You know, we've had these discussions about Secor. It's been up. Yes.
We had a safety audit, didn't
Safety-
we? We had an
Well,
RSA.
did we have the audit or did we have the?
We had an
audits
RSA
finished?
application.
Okay.
Did we have a completed audit on Secor and Silver Lake?
We did.
Yeah, I remember having a pretty lengthy discussion on that because all of us agreed that something needed to be done
Yeah.
and we needed.
And at that point, we had not enough warrants to change anything. Okay.
It's a weird intersection.
It's a weird intersection. It's been bad. I mean, you know, when I first moved to the area, I lived on West Silver Lake Road. And that was in the 80s. And it was a bad intersection then.
Yeah, it's just weird.
You know, I mean,
It's
that's the reality.
It's configured very
Could
weird.
we do work like, could we survey and perhaps brush, cut and do stuff to get the back, one of you spoke about how the traffic creeps out off Secor into West Silver Lake Road, because you can't see, you have to. Could we look at where our right of way is and trimming and these real bad intersections?
I believe we did look at that and we
We did.
went as far as we could and now we're into private property.
Yeah, as a result of the RSA, we did the trimming. Absolutely, because I drive that all the time and there was a difference. But yeah, then I went into that guy's yard. I think is what it was.
Question on, and while this may not seem like much of a, of a solution, it's not really a solution, but it might help. Oftentimes people tend to, when they pull out, they'll go like this. I mean, so you got Silver Lake Road, which kind of does this, after going by Secor. Well, and it kind of comes in like this. Well, could we paint so that people actually like follow the lane so that they come at an exact perpendicular so they can actually see what's coming down their way? We had that problem, and one of the reasons why we put a roundabout on Garfield and Oak Road or Garfield and Potter there was because people come to it and they'd be at an angle, and that angle was perfect so that they couldn't see down the road to the cars that were coming up. And that's why we had hits and near misses on that road. I'm just wondering, is it something where something as simple as paint at least keeps the people who are pulling out onto the road at a perpendicular so they can, some people don't think about it. I always, if a road comes in at this angle at any time, I try to bring my vehicle up so I can see, so I'm not looking back and trying to see what's coming.
Have we approached the homeowner? This was a bit ago. I remember this was at least 2 years ago. We had the RSA, right?
This is about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's about right. I'm not sure.
Maybe we could have a conversation. I mean, it might just not be complicated. I don't know. I mean, we always think that it's really complicated, but maybe, even before winter comes. I don't, honestly, the vision isn't much better in the winter because it's mostly evergreens that are there blocking the way anyways. There's a slightly better. I also drive a big vehicle. Like for those
Right.
the trucks or whatever, it's a really different story than people in cars pulling up to that intersection. But I have a really hard time seeing that I'm sitting up higher than, a lot of the vehicles. So I would just wonder, I don't know the person, but maybe there could be a nice conversation and some way that we could, obviously incur the cost of the trimming, but compensate them in some way or something. I don't know. I don't know what,
It's a safety issue.
yeah, I don't know what the practice is for that with people's private property, but I'm sure there's a possibility. Yeah.
Commissioner Gilman.
Just a couple things. Speaking of changes, we are still turning with the city to try to get the Beitner Bridge parks taken care of.
Yeah.
The city is a major part of that. I want to thank the county and the administrator for helping us with the city. We don't quite have an agreement yet, but they know what we're after. And I'm hoping that by the end of the year, we can at least have movement on whether they're in or out so that we can plan forward for
Well,
that.
Is this for the acquisition of property because of
This
the
is-
harm on the roundabout?
This is
or-
because when we put the bridge in, we're gonna shut off the boat launch and other sides. So they
Right.
have to come in a different way.
And it makes
Okay.
it's almost impossible to even use the road to the
Yes.
other, because the drop off, because we're raising the road.
Yes.
Considerably.
So the city is a part of that. And so we
Right.
are trying to work with the city to say, we need to do that. We'd like to do this and we'd like to do that. And we don't have an agreement yet, but we are still working that behind the scenes. We talked about a few months ago.
That gives them a reason to use that fourth leg of that roundabout.
Well, yeah, the roundabout arm
Yeah.
traverse the city property, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that goes into the city property on that side. And then the chunk on the other side
Yeah.
is the city too, which we need to access the
Okay.
other
Yeah.
side. So
Well, and it's a significant safety improvement.
Yes.
And I think,
So
I know
I
for
think-
sure all of us are into the safety.
I think we'll
improvement.
get there, but it is the city. And again, I want to thank the administrator for helping us
Okay,
try to get that.
yeah, we've been
through.
talking about that since I was on park.
Yeah. One of the things I forgot about Christmas is they talked about training for situational awareness. I already mentioned it to Dan once offline, but we may want to look at that. Just in the present climate that we're in, everybody needs to have some situational awareness training to know what you should probably do in certain situations. We'll leave it at that. Some of the research, the three research areas that were selected for the CRA. They are researching gravel road and best practices for gravel road and including what aggregates should be used and when they should be used and try to come up with a standardized. If you got a gravel road, we recommend this. So it's not so helter skelter like it is now. You can probably talk to that, Alan. They also are researching the use of AI and how AI can be used probably mostly for road ratings
Using the road.
versus, well, versus having the $600,000 van drive through there, the AI can help determine what might be going on there. So, and then well, you already mentioned the chip seal and fog. Yeah, they are researching that. And the other big thing they talked about, which I forgot earlier, is make sure when you have contractors or utilities working in your right of ways that they get permitted and that you get some sort of liability coverage and or a bond while they're in there. Not so much down here, but it's pretty wild west up north where they're putting in all the high-speed internet stuff. Where they've had to go in and literally yank it out because it's been 6 inches off the road right away. I mean, 6 inches off the road, not where it's supposed to be. So those are my 2 cents that I remembered about it.
I've been preaching that.
So, and I know we do that, but it's just a reminder, make sure everybody is permitted. Kind of like the sinkhole we have where nobody know where it came from, over there at Cass. So.
Right, thank you, Commissioner Corn.
Just wanted to highlight communications a little bit, and just all the work that Dan and the team here has been doing and Susan and Charlie. There's been some pretty significant things that have happened in the last month and they have been on it. Like we got out messaging immediately about 3 Mile opening, the Town Line Road situation, about Barney and about Cedar Run and Gray. And if you take a look at these videos are being shared and viewed tens of thousands of times. And it's the fastest and easiest way to get information out to people. I was on the radio talking about, stuff, mostly just reminding people to be nice to our crews. If you're angry or frustrated about the road construction and the detours, what you don't need to do is scream or berate or yell at, our staff. And that goes for just the absolutely abysmal behavior I've seen online, and the comments about the road commission staff is unacceptable. So, I'm a one woman kind of mama bear going in there periodically, but the reality of it is the better that we communicate, the better that we're going to hopefully give out good information and shelter our crew from some of the things that they've had to deal with. So communications is really, we're always talking with Susan and kind of prioritizing how we're going to do that better to give people better information and hopefully stop writing just this horrible stuff online. So that's been a real priority for us, especially in the last week here, considering what took place. So.
Thank you. My comments have to do with the detours and the construction as well. Obviously, I live on the west side of town, and it now takes me 35 minutes to get from straight road to downtown as opposed to what it used to take 15 minutes. Obviously, there's a confluence of things that have come together. Well, unfortunately, we have two MDOT massive projects going on at the same time. That doesn't help. Even though, to Commissioner Lehman's point, the construction zone at the M22, M72 has remained open throughout. But people try to take the path of least resistance. And I understand that, because having been caught in that traffic where that traffic backs up to, sometimes Union Street all the way from Division Street on Grandview Parkway, yes, if you leave downtown at work at like 5 o'clock, it's backed up all the way to where that taco place is, all the way from Division, the traffic light from Division. It's bad everywhere, and it's because these projects are taking place, and they have to take place within a very compressed period of time. We are trying to do the best we can. Problem is, for example, we have installed a temporary traffic light at the intersection of Gray and Cedar Run Road in order to help better flow traffic, especially from Gray Road that's turning left on Cedar Run Road. The downside of that is it's now caused backups on all three sides, on both sides of Cedar Run. There is a price to pay, and there is going to be an inconvenience, even though we have now improved safety for those people who are turning left from Gray onto Cedar Run. The price of that safety is that everyone now has to spend more time stopped at a traffic. So right now, our priority is public safety. We want to get our people, our residents, safely to their homes, to their work, wherever they are traveling. Unfortunately, the price for that is you have to endure some backups, and you have to endure, a little bit more time on the road than you're accustomed to. Our plan is, and it continues to be, that after these projects end, and when we have normal circumstances, we do intend to do a traffic count on all our main roads. And then we are going to identify certain intersections to do intersection studies as well. We have talked about Cedar Run and Gray. We have talked about Harris. We can include, West Silver Lake and C4 on there. We can include maybe East Log Lake and C4 on there. And so that we can have a better understanding of how, traffic is flowing. But right now it's just abnormal. Everyone is trying to take different routes and get to their homes, work the quickest way they can. So whatever count we do now is not going to be accurate, because it's a little skewed by the traffic. So please be patient. We all live in Grand Traverse County. We all drive these roads every day. We are in the same situation as all of you are. As to the speed issue, I think we need to have a discussion with MDOT as to whether they can have some MSP people there to monitor some of these speeds, so that. But the problem with that is we can reduce the speed and people are still going to violate it. It's an enforcement issue. We can reduce it to 25 miles an hour. People will still drive 55 miles an hour if they can get away with it.
We can.
I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm not saying.
I don't want to give anybody the impression that we have the ability to.
I'm saying hypothetically speaking, if we had the ability to do it, it's still people that drive the speeds that they want to, because if there's no enforcement. But the most we can do in that situation is we can talk to MDOT and see if they can put an MSP, but we don't have any ability. And I want to reiterate that these two big projects, they are not road commission projects. They're MDOT projects. And while MDOT consults with us, to Commissioner Lehman's point, maybe next time we will have to have a very detailed discussion about the detours and how they impact our roads. But for now, unfortunately, we have to deal with it the best we can. So I appreciate everyone's and the public's patience on that. With that, we are going to move on to item G, which is our closed session. And on the white sheet, you have a motion under item G to go into closed session. So would one of the commissioners like to make that one?
Now make it.
And tell them, they can stay. We're gonna go to another room.
You can stay.
You can stay all.
You can stay
all
here.
night if you like.
Coffee and donuts. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to come.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Thanks for
hearing us.
Noticed all the work, all the new roads, all of the chip. Yeah, that looks great. And we get it. And you see the progress. I'm on the roads all the time. So good job.
Thank you.
On that part. So
Thank you.
it is noticed, which is why we're here.
We go into closed session to discuss privileged communications from our attorney, Bill Henry, regarding the Grand Traverse construction fee, DTCRC pursuant to MCL 15.268.
One inch.
I'll order the second, whatever we need.
All right. So there's a motion to go into closed session by Commissioner Gilman to discuss privileged communications from our council regarding Grand Traverse construction versus DTCRC, supported by Commissioner Lehman. Any discussion before we do a roll call vote? Hearing none, roll call please.
Gilman,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Underwood.
Yeah.
Chasm.
Yes.
Are we-
There will be no.
we-
I don't have a name tag.
People
Make the motion to come out of closed session.
support.
A motion by Commissioner Gilman, supported by Commissioner Corn to come out of closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are in open session. All right,
Yeah,
so,
no, annual
We can do the
certification,
retirement thing.
annual certification.
yeah,
It's our annual, but say we comply with the
Oh, yeah.
either we pay health insurance
Yep.
up to the hard caps or 80% employer, 20% employee.
I will make a motion requesting the chair to sign Form 2067, acknowledging that medical benefits are offered to employees and elected public officials in compliance with the publicly funded Health Insurance Contribution Act 2011 PA 152.
Second.
okay. So we have a motion by Commissioner Corn, supported by Commissioner Underwood. So authorizing the chair to sign Form 2067, acknowledging that medical benefits are offered to employees and elected public officials in compliance with the publicly funded Health Insurance Contribution Act. Any further discussion before we, that's not roll call.
No.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. Next item is the Retirement System Annual Report. And that is on page 78 of your packet. And Phil?
Yeah, this is just because we triggered underfunded because we don't have a trust established for the retiree healthcare plan that we offer at $112 a month stipends for through the MERS Healthcare Savings Plan. Our current annual expense is about $75,000 a year, and that'll continue to, be reduced as retirees pass away. So this is the same waiver as we applied for in the past, and we've always been approved. So we just need board resolution approving this, and I can attach a resolution to this packet and send it on the treasury.
When did the OPEB stop at the road commission?
We 2016.
16. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I remember it. I was in office then, but okay.
So I make a motion that we approve.
I don't see a
Yeah, it was
resolution.
right here, here it is.
Which
Here it
one
is.
is-
Resolution, no, that's.
No, that's
not-
Barney.
yeah.
No,
Where's the resolution?
yeah, I didn't.
I don't know. I have to give it Kylie. But
Okay, yeah, it's not attached. So is there a resolution number?
we attach the board minutes approving it. I guess at this point, we'll approve
That's what I.
the form and I'll just.
Okay, you just want us to approve the form?
So I make a motion that we approve form as a 5584
Correct.
for the retirement system report.
Support.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Underwood, supported by Commissioner Corn to approve form number 5584, which is the application for waiver, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's the motion. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is the traffic signal backing plates grant, and that's Chris.
So this was a project to add backplates to several of our traffic signal heads at multiple intersections throughout the county. The project was also going to include some minor upgrades to some components that had reached the end of their service life or were past the end of their service life. We went to GI for this project in early May or possibly April of 2024. This was before I was handling it. After the GI, we learned from MDOT that there was an additional requirement for adding the signal back plates for structural analysis of the string poles and mast arm poles that were out there in order to comply with a somewhat new FHWA requirement. So essentially the reason for that is that the back plates create an extra surface area out there and that there's more potential wind load on there, and they want to ensure that that wind load is not going to fatigue the structure of.
So this presents then a potential problem. We pay so much to inspect these poles anyway, which is a ridiculous amount of money. And then they have to kind of reassess the engineering of these poles to make sure that the wind on this additional wind load is not going to stress
Yep.
those
Yep.
already
Make sure that we
inspected.
don't have a failure gap.
Oh, boy.
What are our options?
So I mean, our options were to actually conduct the full structural analysis there. In order to do that, we would have to have good shop drawings of what was installed at each location and then pay. We don't have the in-house expertise to be able to do that, so we would be paying a consultant to take care of that. We kind of went back and forth with MDOT for several months there before we kind of got a clear picture of what would be required in that structural analysis. And
Why do we need the back plates then?
so the back plates provide the benefit of really calling attention to the signal head. If you'll notice the new signal heads that we have out there, it's that extra black.
Yeah.
Well, usually it's the same color as the actual signal head, and then it's got the reflective striping on it. And it's shown to really catch people's eye and make sure that they actually notice the signal head out there.
Yeah.
In some instances, it's easy to kind of lose it with some glare behind it or other things that are up in the air. It does have a shown effect in reducing.
I mean, you know, could we paint stripes on them or something? I mean, that would almost be cheaper. I mean, it would definitely be cheaper, but I mean.
It would be cheaper, but I don't know that you could put them on there in a manner that would actually grab attention, whereas the additional.
People say, these things look really crappy. Hey, you see, that is fantastic.
So, what I'm asking is, our choices are not taking the grant or doing further work.
So at this point in time, what's ended up happening is we have elected not to take the safety grant.
It's fine.
As evidenced by the strain poles and the mast arms that do meet the requirements to pass the structural analysis there, it is a much more substantial strain pole and or mast arm pole that are out there. It is unlikely that we're going to pass the structural analysis required with those old 4-bolt strain poles or mast arms that are out there. And we would not have been able to compile the old shop drawings of what was out there and get them to a firm that could complete the analysis.
Right. And the funny thing
in
is,
time to hit MDOT obligation.
if those poles were updated enough to handle the additional load, we would have the different heads to begin with. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
When we construct the new ones, they're all
it's all new. Yeah.
yep, they're new and they're gonna be able to handle that load. And
Yeah.
so when we do a modernization on a signal, we include the back plates of the
Yeah.
part of the measurement.
Good call on not going after the grant. I don't think.
And as a benefit, we did not get any call them demerit points, but it's not held against us for any future safety grant applications.
good.
Because
We
normally
don't
when
have
we
a
turn
study
down a
that
safety
actually
grant.
states that we
Yeah.
failed.
Yeah, yep.
All right, so as part of our normal asset management plan, as we update these.
So we're gonna kind of reassess the couple that we were hoping to get some components upgraded with that and work that into our norm.
Sure.
When we do upgrade, can we build in additional load? And that doesn't cost us anything at the time, but I mean, essentially it's where the inspection gives us the numbers that we need to know in the event that some other improvement comes up that might add to it, like an additional sign on the wire.
So you're getting into a question that's beyond my area of expertise, so I'm gonna turn that over to Joe.
Yeah, so yeah, to go to the backer plate thing, and that did come out with an Excel sheet where you could plug some standard stuff in. And it's an additional structural analysis needed for the site, and that was it. And getting them to tell us what that was took several months. If not, yeah, it was about 6 months to get what they were actually looking for to that they could say, yes, you can do this. And the level of analysis would be taking every strain pole and rebuilding it and modeling it. So it came in, yeah, it just turned into one of those, this isn't worth it.
Yeah.
This is not worth it.
But the bottom line was the ones we have are known not to have that strain, like they would have failed.
Yeah, so, you look at it, all right, 4-bolt, okay, need the structural analysis. Old 6-bolt, not sure what MDOT standard design that was built under. Have to do a structural analysis, but there was some contingency that if it is that model, that there's a certain envelope of loading that you can do, so you could just add that to it. With new strain poles and mast arms that are going in,
they are designed right now to the infinite wind loading that Chris was talking about. So it used to be with backer plates and things that hung up on the poles. They did wind cycle loads for the expected life of the signal. Now they're saying you have to run that to infinity because signals stay out longer than their design life oftentimes. So you have to account for infinite wind loads on these components in order to like stamp them. But that's already built into the new signals. So knowing how the new signals are designed, if you want to hang a new head or something on it or move it around, it's a pretty easy Excel sheet calculation to know if you can or can't do that.
Okay,
Cool.
sure. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
And Chris.
maybe a little too in the weeds, but
Okay.
Thanks.
I like that stuff.
All right, moving on to the Barney Road weight and load restriction discussion. There's a resolution on page 93 of the packet. But I think, yeah, Dan, go ahead. I think this was because we asked if.
Sure. So, yeah, this was a request of the board. This is just like we did on Town Line.
Right.
We're not doing the $6 million repair, doing the mix of fixes, just try to maintain the road's life as long as possible, just restricting it from trucks, through traffic, trucks driving through there.
All right,
I have a question.
sure, go ahead.
This is, I said, from my reporting, I was gonna ask, because it was on the agenda later. I misspoke. It wasn't about speed limits on Town Line. It was the weight restriction. I'm sorry, I misspoke on that. There was a lot of questions about that at the airport meeting and understanding the enforcement tools and maybe also just observations or how people think it's going, or if there's something we can do. I'd like to identify that or get an update before we talk about doing it on an additional road to see maybe how we should address it, or if you think it's going well or whatever.
Sure. When obviously the road first switched, people weren't aware of it, so they were using it quite a bit. We put our message boards on each side to get people to kind of start to learn it. Once we put the message boards out, we saw a huge curve in it.
So if there was a truck and somebody called,
Mhm.
who do they call?
They can call us or the state police.
They can call the state police.
Yeah.
Would somebody be dispatched, or like if I said, hey, I see this truck, it says Cisco on the side and it's this number.
They probably call them. And the state police would probably call. If you had like a number for the trucking company, they'd probably call the trucking company and say, hey,
So this is not something where we would have anybody necessarily sitting on the road watching for that, right? It's just more of a complaint driven enforcement.
we have a waymaster.
You can send people there.
And the
Motor carrier can
person
send
that,
somebody-
if we did that, the person would be a county road commission employee and a county road commission marked.
During the Waymaster or during state frost laws, the state police Waymaster is usually in Grand Traverse County, and something that he likes to do while he's waiting is he'll sit on like Hope Road as weight restricted, and they'll sit down there and watch that a little bit. So he could spend some time down there as well.
But our employees, somebody like you is also, I don't know the right word, certified or something like
Yeah.
that. But obviously you're not gonna go hang out sitting on the side of the road. You have a job to do. Is it something where we would necessarily have somehow deputies certified to do? I mean, is there a way to?
I've talked to the county sheriff's office if they'd be interested in sending anybody there. They didn't think that anybody interested at this time, but they were gonna look into it.
Because they have to go take a class.
Yeah, I
or
think
something like that.
a couple day class.
So it's not like just
Sure.
deputizing somebody.
And those motor carrier division can do it too, not just the. Correct?
Right, yeah, yeah.
So state police motor carrier. division.
Motor
And-
carrier.
Or everywhere.
Everywhere. no matter
Yeah, they
where.
are.
Yeah.
So if,
So
so I guess my question would be, have you had a lot of calls to the road commission? If we're one of the places people would call to complain? Or are you aware of anybody calling to turn anybody into like state police or whatever?
I'm not aware of the state police. When we first initially did Town Line Road, we did get a few calls about truck traffic still there.
Okay,
Since we put the message boards up, we haven't.
okay.
Have we gotten some calls about the people that actually have a business on that road? That's got it.
Because there's an exception.
Yeah,
allowed to go.
yeah. I will say this, I love that road right now.
It does
It's,
look great.
it's so cool,
Yeah.
just
It does
because
great.
it just makes me feel good that we have a road that's actually travelable. It's smooth, it travels well, actually.
We'll see in the spring.
We'll see. I understand that. I understand that.
So
Hopefully
moving-
not a Hope Road problem or a.
But
power,
moving
you know,
forward
power
here,
lines,
if we're gonna consider another road. I mean, obviously, none of us want to vote on something that's not enforceable or not working. You aren't aware of any issues with Town Line or anything that. And if we pass this, I'm assuming you would do what you did, which is put the message boards up. It says here, October 20th, it starts, so sometime around then, and we could do a communications, blurb about it as well, right?
Yep.
Does Long Lake and Garfield have to approve this as well?
So Garfield has already approved it. Long Lake is approving it their October meeting.
Okay.
So.
They're, yeah, because they have as much of a stake in Bernie. So.
Okay.
And if
Well,
I may, Mr.
thank you.
Chairman, the folks who live on Barney Road will police if there's.
Yeah. Well,
But it's also important that they understand who they call
yeah.
and what kind of information that they're looking for. So that's on us to get that good information out. And I honestly didn't know the answer until just now. So I can, help, but I didn't know. Well, I will make the motion then, to approve resolution 2025-09-07, Barney Road, permanent restrictions for all non-essential and non-emergency commercial vehicles.
I'll support that motion. So support the motion by Commissioner Corn, supported by myself to approve resolution 2025-09-007, approving Barney Road as a weight/load restricted road. Any further discussion? Let's do a roll call on this since it's a resolution.
Gordon.
Yep.
Lehman,
Yes.
Underwood.
Yes.
Gilman.
Yes.
Cass.
Yes, motion passes. Next item is the purchase of the tractor. Those are on the very last page of the packet. And it's just one memo for both items, so L and M.
Of tractor and purchase of two.
Go overs, yeah. So Dan.
Sure, so I think I spoke about throughout the summer, we had tons of mower issues, keeping tractors on the road. We were down one tractor. We tried doing the rental thing the last 2 years to see if that was a better option, what we could run them for. If the first year went okay, this year went absolutely terrible. So we're just looking to replace that third tractor. So we're back up to 3 tractors. Our mowers took an absolute beating this year, so we're looking to put a new mower in there, and then obviously purchase a mower for that new tractor that's coming as well. We found just tons of roadside stuff this year. You find a tire and rim buried down in the ditch in the grass, and you don't see it. You hit it with a mower.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a few things in. Yeah.
It's not a great scenario, so.
Those are really good.
We want separate motions for the,
You can just make it one motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of the Farmall 110A tractor and the 2 mowers from Ina Store.
And it is from the same place.
I'll support that motion. So motion by Commissioner Lehman, supported by myself to approving the purchase of a 2026 Farmall 110A tractor for a price of $103,000.
Yeah, the
And
price actually came in a little under.
so that's not the accurate price.
Did you guys get this?
How about up to 100?
You are, you are. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just approve for the price, purchase the tractor and then purchase of one MD 93 disc mower and one Land Pride, whatever. the mower. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Lehman.
Yes.
Underwood.
Yes.
Gilman.
Yes.
Corn.
Yeah.
Cass.
Yes.
We like our children's phone.
Yes. That's a good idea.
Hopefully,
Hopefully these aren't like the John Deere and burn up.
all right.
One of the reasons we're interested in this tractor is it actually does not get as hot as the John Deere for the dust system. I guess I should have spoke about this a little bit. It actually has cooler temperatures, so when the grass lays on it, it doesn't do it. So we're actually a couple of road commissions have demoed these tractors and they were really happy with it. So we're excited to try them.
Now that we've approved the purchase, can you tell us where they're made?
Where they're made.
Yeah, where are they made?
We can look at it, bang it.
Well, one is like an IH. What is IH?
International Harvester.
International Harvester. there.
Yeah.
I don't know what, and then with Land Pride.
I was just, are they made here in the States? Are they made in Italy? Are they made in China? What,
Germany.
for some reason, I can't get.
They're Russian.
I don't believe they made.
Chinese.
Because that's what the price description was.
Was it New Holland
Some tariffs.
acquired them or something, or?
I know John Deere was in Mexico, so I didn't hear a lot about that.
I think we can do that research, but let's just go into the closed
I thought
session.
maybe they
We
did.
have the
Oh.
Cedar Run before.
The Bushido.
Yeah,
or-
the Cedar Run and Gray.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for reminding me that. Yes, yes. All right, so that is, yes, Cedar Run, Gray and Harris Road. Update by Joe. So just to give a quick background so that you know the context. I had a conversation with Dan and Joe last week. And asked them to come up with some options, on what we could do with Harris and Cedar Run Road. And also follow up on some of the prior discussion we had on Cedar Run and Gray Road intersection. So Joe said that he'll look into some recommendations, some options that we can have on those two intersections. We also talked about, and I would like you to give us a brief update on the timing, the traffic signal timings on Long Lake Road, North Long Lake Road at the intersections of Barnes and Zimmerman, because traffic was backing up quite significantly on that stretch of North Long Lake Road as well. So with that, just quick background, Joe, over to you.
Yeah, did you discuss the chevrons at all?
No, his manager's comments will come later, so
Yeah.
he's not.
Okay, so with the Cedar Run and that stretch of road between Gray and Harris, some of the options, like particularly at the intersections, right now, there are a lot of there's a lot of increased volume on that road, which doing anything with the traffic study now could be problematic for future volumes, because I would anticipate that they're gonna fall off. So just kind of put it in perspective, just south of there, North Long, I'm not trying to lump them together, but we got some traffic counts back on North Long Lake earlier, and the historical volumes have been running right around 8,000 to 9,000 vehicles a day, North Long Lake. That's both direction, just total volume. And at the intersection at the high school last week, it was 16,000. Yeah, so it's double.
I believe that.
The whole corridor is double what it had been running prior to construction at 72 and 22. So there's a big skew there for the volumes.
Which is part of why our lights are.
Yeah, and that's leading up to Cedar Run Road also. That whole area is just congested. But as far as the intersections go, there's several things that are options there. One is to look at turning movement counts and how those intersections are functioning, and whether or not a signal is warranted. We hear a lot about signals at Cedar Run and Gray, obviously, and Cedar Run and Harris is another one. That one gets backed up also. But to do a traffic study right now to justify any warrants for a signal would be ill-timed. So what was discussed was traffic at the 72 and 22 roundabout. Hopefully it calms down here when that's open. And I saw today that
Yeah.
they opened up.
Today, yeah, today.
It's a partial roundabout.
It's like
There's still
a
a lot of
roundabout,
curb work to
yeah.
do, but people were going around the circles today.
Yeah, huge thing.
So, and the backups on 31 disappeared within 45 minutes of them getting that opened up.
Yeah.
So just hopefully more vehicles decide to use that part of the corridor and get around and relieve some of the pressure that's on these two roads. But the plan would be to wait until that construction is very near completion and like pretty much opened up, and hit a good time yet this year where there's not snow on the ground, and put some cameras out and do turning movement counts at each intersection when we feel that things have kind of returned to normal. I would anticipate that some people have found that route and maybe they like it more and they stick to it. So I would think that there might be a change from last year to this year. So it'd be a good thing to look at it again, but try to hit right now in the fall before it snows. Just look at those two intersections and get some traffic counts on them. So that way we have a fresh look at what the warrants are for those intersections. With RSA, there's several things that can be done depending on the movements. So one thing to look at is like, are left turn lanes warranted? Because if there's big turning movements at intersections, like, obviously Gray, not much you can do. There's only two directions to go, but on Cedar Run, if there's heavy left turn movements and things like that, then just putting a signal up and leaving it a 2-lane each direction intersection with a signal could actually make it worse.
You're talking about Harris, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Harris has that movement. I'd assume that Gray Road is most of it is a left turn off Gray,
Right.
and then it's a right turn off Cedar Run.
Yeah.
That's the two primary movements that people are taking.
Right.
But a right turn lane might be warranted for Cedar Run.
Right.
In order to get that intersection, if you signalized it, if it even warrants it, to operate efficiently. So what we're seeing right now, what it does when you have heavy turning movement counts and signalization, it kind of backs everyone up and shares the weight all the way around.
Yeah.
So that's the goal with those intersections with the road safety audit. There was some vertical things that were discussed that could be incorporated into that, looking at it. And then another, like, just for that corridor in between, we looked at the traffic crashes that occurred and have laid out what would be just increased signing and visibility for it in the dark. There wasn't a tremendous amount of crashes in that between the intersections, but what they were nighttime slide offs and people leaving the road, which is indicative of not seeing the curve. So increased signing, more reflectivity, like getting people aware that there's actually a curve in front of them, helps in those situations.
So Joe, I'm firmly on board with the plan to do the actual studies and accounts once all the construction projects are completed sometime, hopefully by sometime in November. But in the interim time period, are there any options that we have to alleviate some of the traffic on Harris Road that is backed up in the morning and evening hours?
Short of adding another set of temporary signals or putting up a 3-way stop sign so everyone has to stop. No, there's not a lot you could do, but putting up a 3-way stop, it would change where backups occur because Harris is very backed up right now. So Harris would still remain backed up, but then you would move some of the backup to Cedar Run.
The nice thing about multiple stops is everybody keeps moving, not sitting so long like you do at a traffic light. When our lights go out many times, people are quite courteous and everybody is moving. You think it's not gonna work without a traffic light. But much of the population is quite intelligent and can handle the stop sign. And so some of these things, I think we should consider as much as
It's a temporary.
Yeah. So,
at least trying some stuff.
Yeah, in places where I've seen that implemented for construction activities, when you put in stop signs, is initially people tend to run it. So oftentimes on the road that's been the through road, you'll see the temporary rumble strips go down. Those are noisy if there's neighbors nearby, but they do bring your attention to it because people do miss them right away.
Yeah.
And then I know a couple intersections where that was done multiple times for extended periods. And after the stop signs went away, people still stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Very good.
So,
Yeah.
What about the hill though? Like, we couldn't really have people stopping in the winter on that hill.
I would hope that any traffic that is causing congestion in the winter would be back to normal.
Yeah, this is a
traffic patterns.
temporary.
But yeah, that is something to be of concern. So if you have a lot of truck traffic and you're putting a stop on an incline that's pretty significant, it can cause issues when it's icy and.
Oh, it causes issue without it.
Yeah.
For some cars with.
Yeah.
No, but the purpose of these types of options is only for the time frame where this construction project is happening and there's the detour effect. Obviously beyond that, you'll have to do, like Joel was talking about, the turning count studies and come up with more permanent solutions. It's just to help with the increased traffic volume, right?
Yeah, what it won't do is get rid of the congestion,
Yeah,
but it could make it more orderly.
but it could make it more safer. because right now people are getting frustrated waiting on Paris Road and they're trying to then rush into a turn.
It's no different at Secor and
Right,
Do we have
exactly.
temporary stop signs that have like little LED flashers that basically let them know, hey, this is new, this is not, that we could,
We have temporary stop signs, but don't have flashers.
So
night
if this is.
my thought is just, people are not gonna expect it.
Tonight, because by the time we meet again. Barney will be over and the roundabout project will have just a couple more weeks. I mean, wouldn't,
Well, I think there's still the interlock, and when is the interlock is close to it?
Those are 5-week projects, so they're getting pretty close.
yeah.
Yeah,
It is definitely something to discuss for next construction.
I mean, if you get traffic loaded at 72 and 22 right now, it'll be
Yeah.
better. Already, it's not gonna be as bad.
And the light, the temporary light at Cedar Run and Gray is through like October 16th, sort of the Barney Road timeline, right?
Whenever Barney Road's done, we're talking before Halloween is our goal.
Okay.
Yeah, in that one, we got video of it. We're looking at the splits in the AM PM.
Oh,
Because right now they're running, same both sides, but there is a heavy east-west movement, and then a heavy west-east movement depending on the time of day.
is there an adjustment to timing that needs to be made, or do you think it's probably
Well,
as accurate as it could be?
right now, no, when that temporary signal was put out, it was discussion with DTE and what they saw happening out there, but there was no data to go off of to get it started. So when it was put out, it was feedback from them on what they saw and what their issues were. And it's kind of an educated guess to get your first timing. And then
Right.
with these temporary signals, it's pretty easy to just adjust. The
it's
time.
right now, it's 1 minute on each side.
Yeah.
Which
It's
throughout the day.
Yeah.
It's equal.
So in
Okay.
the evening, it's a little bit off because you're
Yep.
going eastbound, there's hardly any traffic.
True.
The nice thing is that most of the westbound traffic is turning right on Gray Road.
Correct.
So, but it still causes a backup.
Mhm.
In the morning, obviously it's 1 minute all along, but each side is busy. So all three directions are busy in the morning.
Yeah.
So everyone is an equal
What
opportunity.
you would do is you would run AM phase and a PM phase, and you could get more time for the predominant traffic to clear.
Yeah, so I don't know if that adjustment, it has not been made since, as of yesterday, it was
Yeah.
still waiting.
No,
So-
we were doing the video analysis and during it, one of the cameras actually conked out halfway through. So we had to redo it.
And this morning because I was the first car at the red light, I counted how many cars went through on Gray Road at a green light, and it was 15.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Part of the thing is that some people have 2 car lengths gap between them and the car in front of them. So they're slowly creeping around, and so obviously that's.
They are on the phone at the
traffic.
start.
Yeah.
Oh, they are on the
Yeah.
phone at the
Part of the
start.
problem is they're
Yeah.
not paying attention.
No, they're
They're
not,
not.
right, there's a huge gap between them and then they're speeding up and then,
Mhm.
so part of that is also, that issue as well, so there's nothing we can do about that. But, well, yeah, and I think the discussion that, Joe and I and Dan had last week, at that time, we didn't know that the roundabout would get reopened effective today.
Yeah, I saw that flashing sign that says
Yeah.
open Thursday.
So obviously that
Today's
will
Thursday.
make a difference on the volume and we can monitor it and see if that makes a change and
They
then.
need to do anything.
Yeah, and then we may not have to do anything. If we do, we can have a special meeting in October and
Yeah, and
any decision needs to be made at that point.
I have one request.
Yeah.
On the corner of Gray and Cedar Run, there is a house. It has a driveway that is this close to the new traffic light. Those homeowners cannot get out of their driveway. And they were wondering if the road commission had signs that say, do not block driveway. They said you can put it right in their yard. They don't care. But they are really having a difficult time getting out of their driveway. People are already frustrated enough at the light and they're not allowing them to get out. So they wondered if we owned those types of signs, like do not block driveway, and if we could put it at their house. Because they're having a really difficult time.
We can make signs. Yeah.
And they're happy to have it put anywhere. They don't mind. You have their permission to go on and place it, but they just really could use some assistance. It's been just an unintended consequence. They understood. They're not angry or anything, but I think it would be courteous to help them. Because unfortunately, the drivers haven't been real courteous to them.
And
I
then,
think do we have signs like that?
I don't know if we have one of those in school.
But that, if we have signs like that, I don't.
We'll
think-
check.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think,
Anything would. be
and let's
helpful.
hope that drivers. follow it.
We're pulling that light here for try, but
Yeah, we can try. We can put the signs in because that's obviously.
And the signs are real from us, if they just like hand wrote one, it just.
No,
didn't
I don't
have the
think.
Same effect.
Yeah,
so
but the.
They
but
were,
yeah,
we're hopeful that we had.
We
something
can
like
hope
that.
that the people will obey those signs and not do it.
Yeah.
but, all right. Any questions for Joe? Okay, thank you, Joe,
Thank you.
very
Thank
much
you.
for your input.
make the motion that we go into closed session for discussion of strategy about negotiation of collective bargaining agreement pursuant to MCL 15-268(1)(c).
All right, I'll support that motion. So there's a motion of Commissioner Gilman to go into closed session for discussion of strategy connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement supported by myself. Roll call, please.
Underwood.
Yes.
Gilman.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Lehman. Yes. Yes.
Yes, we are going to go to closed session.
It will.
Okay.
From experience.
Can I get a motion to come out of closed session?
Motion to come out of closed session.
Support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Lehman, supported by Commissioner Horn to come out of closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. We're in open session. Next item are the informational items, manager comments.
Just a couple updates. I know Joe Pennery talked about Cedar Run and Gray, but we did have that RSA out there. So just wanted to follow up. Last time we talked about the sign package. The sign package is on order currently, came up to about $4,000. So underneath my spending allowance, we just made it happen. They're on their way. As soon as they come in, we'll get the sign department out there, get those installed. MS4, we did get that submitted in time. There is gonna be a lot of stuff going on moving forward. We put the generic package of this is what we want to do, this is how it looks, but there's a lot of other stuff we're finding that you have to do. So this is gonna be an ongoing thing. Might get a contract even further to. There's a lot of plans and there's a lot of things going on here, but we met the first initial deadline to submit. So, but this is gonna just,
Do we have a contract with anyone to do all that extra work?
we did, contracted the OHM to do the initial.
Right.
Big push.
Yeah.
We do not moving forward.
So,
So we'll have to, we don't even know exactly what all they're doing. It's under review right now, from Eagle. They're gonna send back and say like, hey, you need to do this, and then, you need to give some more. Some of the stuff we even said like, hey, what you want us to do when you have time, we're gonna try to get this done within a year, 2 years. They might come back and say, no, we're giving you 6 months. So
we'll have to figure out who we contract with.
we'll figure it all out again.
Okay.
But we did meet our first big initial.
All right.
That was a tight deadline. It really was what they put on us there. So.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, you're this size. Great. Here's what you gotta do now.
Yeah.
That's 13. We wanted to talk a little bit about.
I'm thinking it's the Venezuelan game.
That's,
Yeah.
might as well. Want to talk a little bit about Kingsley Road. So we're gonna try to sneak Kingsley Road in. There's one last project yet this year. When we did the wedging, this year, we approved it. We had that as needed wedging that we were gonna do. I think the board approved up to $80,000. And we had all of our wedging and projects came in $50,000 under. So we've got a little nest egg there the board already approved. The village of Kingsley got a grant in to go from, I think it's roughly where the railroad tracks are there in front of the high school, North Bronson. Yeah, up to Wolf Drive. At least a half mile of the road that won't be done. We can get that done with under all those funds that we already approved and make that a whole complete project. So we're gonna get with Paradise Township and make that happen. So, want to give everybody an update on
I
it.
just had a question about, I thought when we got done with the wedging, you said we were gonna pour the extra wedging money into Town Line Road.
They did everything they thought they needed to do on Town Line Road for us.
So they didn't run over, they didn't use up our money.
Well, I think, I don't know the exact breakdown of it. Chris, maybe you do, if they went a little over on Town Line, but I know Ryan, I told Brian not to slack when he hit Town Line. So
We were pretty great on our estimated target there.
I see. So they didn't use up. Someone who used to do wedging, I thought they should have maybe pulled a wedge through dragging and we could have taken a little more deflection out for not much money. Should have pulled through there twice. Next time we have on a real busy area of town, not somewhere that's this, but I would ask you to even.
Can you just explain, I mean.
Well, you got this crummy road, right? It's all full of deflection.
Okay.
And
Is this run on transfer?
yeah. Well, the road is supposed to look like this, and you got stuff like this.
Okay, the crown, okay, yeah.
And you could, every time you pass over it with a paver and a roller, you can only make so much correction. Because when you put that hot material in there in the thicker sections, it depresses more than the thinner sections.
Right. Okay.
So it takes about 3 runs with a paver to really, really make a top quality road. But sometimes the first run that doesn't take much material, it's almost like a pothole crew because it just fills the paving companies hate it, but we used to do it all the time. It's just hard to do.
Fills the empty space.
It fills those really low, really bad spots. And these guys know it. And I'm just speaking of our wedging budget, because we can fix a lot of roads that we're not going to reconstruct. That I thought a real tight pass. The steel that levels material gets worn a little extra because it's dragging, not in this nice soft top material that molds easily, but
the
it's
ridges.
dragging, it's hitting all the high spots.
Okay.
But it really can make a nice road. The first pass can be take care of the worst damage, and the second time around, it doesn't need to take any more. You want to comment, Chris, or?
You're correct. I mean, the pavers hate it because it does wear the equipment prematurely, and so they like to only do it with a screed that's getting to the end of its life cycle there, because they're planning to get near replacing that steel anyways. But yeah,
What does that still cost?
that I don't know.
A few $1,000s a machine, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. There's all these electric heating elements that keep the thing up, and most of the companies don't do it in the on season. You do that in the off season, and then you're ready to go for the spring. But when we have really nice roads that turned out pretty good, but could turn out a little of this we could get rid of. It's that first drag that's a very low amount of material, but a very high result from that. I was asking about the wedging because we're talking about wedging.
Yeah. I'm just spitballing here. Do we take a look at that road in the spring and see what happens and settle? And maybe we throw another. I don't know.
It might be.
We chip sealed it. We've already budgeted and planned to chip seal. You can do a double chip. Does it make sense to put another one? I don't know.
You really improve the ride quality.
It's awesome right now.
You could really improve the ride quality for very little money.
Something to discuss. We want to just
Engineering.
We're looking at the 1-year plan.
Yeah.
Next, I want to talk a little bit about, now we have this looming government shutdown coming up. Just wanted to let everybody know that we are in good shape. Our fund balance is set nice. If we need to cover payroll for a while, we have no concerns about waiting for our MTF funds coming in. We're gonna be all right to make sure our employees get paychecks and everything's taken care of. So just wanted to throw that one out there. Hopefully, the shutdown is not forever, but if it is, we're gonna be all right. Not in forever, but in an extended period of time, we're gonna be all right for a little bit. Just wanted to mention stop signs. Obviously, we did that public service announcement, put that out there, 7 and 4. 9 and 10, Record Eagle, Cadillac News picked it up. So
what is going on?
A lot of information out there. So I know the officers are still investigating, trying to figure out what's going on.
The one sign was removed in almost the same way as the sign.
Yeah.
With that, where the
Miller.
accident occurred. Yeah, Miller. It was removed at the base, and this other sign was removed right at the base too.
I've heard that.
Like broke off?
I heard all that, and Joe, I really appreciated your call that night when you said this is kind of a real critical thing that was really nice. It was really nice to hear. Most of these signs most of these places, don't we have stop aheads at 500 feet back of most of those?
I believe we do.
Not everywhere.
In a rural area like that?
Like Straightforward doesn't have it.
Not all of them. Miller is one that we did have that sign there already.
So I'm advocating for us going for some more stop aheads.
Yeah.
So that even if they.
Because that was already there and
Well, they could say,
experienced
well,
what we did. We've dualized the stop signs there. So you've seen that a few other places in the county where we put the one on each side
Yeah.
of the intersection. We did do that there at Miller Road, just
Clearly,
A little
this
bit
is
of
not
redundancy.
random. I mean, this is somebody who is. I mean, are they kids? Are they? I mean,
We either have people taking down signs, or then I find a staff report that someone just put up their own stop sign at a place where they were not supposed to put a stop sign. So we have got both ends of the issue. You know,
And talking to other counties, they have signs being stolen.
well, Wexford County, like it said in the news, all that, they didn't just have stop signs removed, they had speed signs removed, mailboxes damaged, and they have theorized that it's all happened in one night. So clearly It wasn't like multiple, just everyone, 10 accidents.
It just breaks my heart if that's,
Yeah,
what
it's
happens
just
between
terrible.
10 o'clock and midnight, at Miller Road.
But, and then Dan was telling me that what the stop sign at East Long Lake and North Long Lake, that
Secor.
Secor and East Long, that got removed. And that's a very, very big, we just heard how busy that is, And what I find a little bit more
You could miss that
concerning
in the
as well
future.
is that no one reported.
Right.
Because that's an area that people travel on a daily basis and they're very familiar with that stop
Yeah,
sign.
no.
And no one called in to say, hey, the stop sign is missing at this intersection.
Luckily, our staff's kind of on alert right now and they thought.
So I think that's another reason why the public safety service announcement it's helpful because it actually is telling people where to call when they see.
So it was very well done and necessary.
Because people may not know what to do when they see a stop.
And I was telling Dan that night, I don't know that before I was part of the road commission, that if I saw a stop sign laying down, that it would occur to me that I
Right.
need to call in. Because I would think, oh, well, somebody obviously knows about that. There was. an
Or the road
accident.
commission did it, maybe
Yeah.
they're replacing a sign,
Like,
yeah,
and I'm not a person that would have
yeah.
want to help, right? So that's why I said to him, no matter what, this is an important message to get out, that we do want your help. You're not harming by calling central dispatch,
Yeah.
not emergent. But that was a very disappointing thing, and it was a horrible tragedy, and my distaste for the social media comment section may have hit an all-time high during this. I probably took it a little too personally, but I couldn't stop thinking about the families
Yeah.
and reading that. I just couldn't stop thinking about that. And then I got really mad because I started thinking about our employees and their families reading these disgusting comments. And, it's one thing, I understand when you work for a public sector agency, I get it. People are going to feel free to walk up to you and tell you, I pay your paycheck and all of this. But that was so above and beyond. And I don't know if there was just a really bad thing going on in our country that week, which we all know there was, and maybe people were feeling extra sassy, but put down the damn phone. If you read about an accident online, where someone's daughter and someone's son died, you're gonna just start messaging. Oh my God, must have been drunk. Road commission must have taken down that sign. These lazy, stupid people must have been texting. Put down the phone. If you don't know about the accident, put down the phone. And I hope there was somebody that learned about that. If one person puts down the phone and causes a little less grief. But this PSA really helped, because not only were they complete horrible people for writing these comments, they were so wrong. Our employees aren't lazy and you should go to bed with blood on your hands tonight. Somebody ran down a sign purposefully, and it sounds like people are doing it. So, I asked for many apologies for our staff. I don't know that we got them, but maybe somebody learned something. And I hope that whoever's knocking down signs has learned something too. But this was a really emotional week, and I just felt really bad for our staff. So that's all. That was a terrible thing. We're used to having things said about us. We're commissioners, but there is no excuse for what happened last week.
Anything further?
Go ahead tonight.
All right. Commissioners' comments, questions?
I'll make it short, but I think about Zimmerman Road.
Awesome.
Zimmerman Harris Road. If we get some, we've never been able to do construction. Maybe a portion of what we get could alleviate a lot of the stress on that side of town. Maybe a construction project, if we could go through the.
I agree with you. I think we had that strategy session, what was it now, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, right. And I think we are at a point now in terms of our population growth and everything else. And we're going to run into the same problem anytime there are any major construction projects. And so I think we do need to strongly consider taking on some construction projects to improve, to upgrade, or improve our infrastructure here, because it's not sustainable at where it is at right now. So, but that's a discussion we can have.
There's some good news on that. The PUD for that property, the turnaround is, included the builder finishing the road through to Harris. Just somewhat like WODA had to build the Zimmerman Road up until the point of their property. And as you guys probably know, that PUD fell through, that developer chose not to move forward. My understanding is that property is sold.
Right, I knew I knew the owner
Yeah.
who just
Yeah.
sold it.
So it sounds like there's potential of a PUD where there will be that partnership coming in with the property owner, potentially us and the township, where we could finally finish that.
Through finally, yeah.
Yeah.
And we kind of have an idea for a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe there's other suitable
That'd be
places.
good.
Maybe there's other places, but if we get a little bit of funding relief, maybe
Yeah.
we could
Little bit
address a
Harris,
little
little
bit
bit.
of the worst of the
Yeah.
capacity
Yeah, I
problems.
think
That would
that's
be
where
ideal.
it is.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gilman?
Well, boy, we talked about a lot of what I wanted to talk about already with the stop signs and of course, Town Line Road. I'm sorry, I'm really happy. I'm happy we did what we did and I hope that it lasts through the winter so we can put a fresh coat over it and protect it a little longer and say, okay, this is surprisingly nice. I want to hear that. The only other thing that I have is my monthly kvetching about signal timing. It's absolutely terrible. I'm just, I'm gonna do my dad,
Garfield and
If-
Southport.
Garfield South Airport, when I sit at a light and there's 30 seconds that goes by with no cars going through, there is something wrong there. That, as far as I'm concerned, that is not right. 30 seconds is too long with no traffic.
And that's supposed to be the school system, isn't that?
Whatever it is, don't care. It doesn't work. Something's not right.
I think, Joe, you might be able to help me. I think part of our problem there is the pedestrian.
Oh, yeah.
The pad.
I don't know.
That works
They
at
put
that
in that,
intersection.
yeah.
That's part of the pattern.
And
And
like-
one of the holds up with the pattern is
Pattern,
having
yeah.
gas and park.
Yes, the
Yeah.
ADA thing.
Because all of them work so that
And you do traffic.
they all work all the way down the line and Cass and Park are part of
Yeah, well, I'm,
the.
do we pay a license for the scoot? Or was it something we paid once and then
Or we pay an annual
we
license.
pay an annual license? Save some money. Get out there and time these things manually. Or set them up, so that they work with the pucks appropriately or something.
Well, that was engineers training, Joe. They all. I'm
Well, the
sure
school
Joe got
doesn't even,
know
hopefully
that.
we don't pay a license fee for Scoot for having it just installed and not working on the west side of town because it
Oh, the
obviously,
Silver Lake. Loop.
yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't work on that side. So, but we got it. All right.
I'm gonna be real quick. I wanna thank the entire staff here because, when I first came on the board, had a lot of negatives. Kind of got a little less, and this year I've actually heard, well, it's nice to see the roads being done.
Yeah,
Your entire staff, Dan, the public does notice that the roads have changed. And that we are being more proactive in how we're doing things. So can you let your crews know? So for that. This is my 5th year. We're finally getting more positive comments, at least to me personally.
All right, thank you. Great. Commissioner Horn, anything else to add?
Zimmerman Road is amazing, like not kidding you, amazing. I don't know if you guys drive on it, but you should. Just one last thing that we just didn't touch on tonight is the light at West Senior High. Something about a turn lane, there are concerns with parents and the kids driving in and out. Is that light set up the way that it's going to be set up, or is there still like a next step?
There's the next step.
Okay,
TCAP's got their portion of the change to that traffic signal designed, bid and constructed before we could get ours through the
okay.
MDOT letting process. There is, I think just today, we got the official word for our contractor to construct the signal modernization there. Along with that modernization, it will have the left turn arrows for left turn movements. It will be restriped to match with the movements that we have planned for out there, and it will have detection on it. So we will be able to kind of improve some of the timing through there.
Good.
If things go to plan, what kind of timeline would maybe?
We are we have put a final completion date on that of, I believe it was May 15th, but we are working with the contractor. They understand that it is a community priority and we are working on getting things in place to meet all the MDOT requirements as far as documentation and testing to get on that project as quickly as we can.
Okay.
And one thing to note on that one is, the turning movements did change when that signal, so it
Yeah.
was, the lane assignments were slightly different, so I heard some confusion at first with going through in the wrong lane.
And now you know there's about 16,000 people going by on a day.
Yes.
So, okay, yeah, that just seems to be one of the lagging questions, and as long as I'm saying, no, it's not done yet,
No.
that's okay. I just wanted to give good facts.
It's
Thank
not, it's just the temporary to make it function until we can get our part completed.
you. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. I just want to acknowledge and thank the staff for what has been a challenging last few weeks with different issues that have popped up. And I really want to thank Dan and his team, Larry, who's not here, and others who have really worked really hard to, resolve those issues, to communicate with the public, to be transparent about it. And even though at times it was not very comfortable for you guys to do it, I really appreciate you doing that. So again, a huge thanks to all of you for, being rock stars in terms of the really hard stuff that you've had to deal with in the last few weeks. All right, with that, I am going to entertain, well, there is no public, so we'll just go motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.